वाग्मि प्राज्ञमहोद्योगम् जनं मूकजडालसम् करोति तत्त्वबोधोऽयम् अतस्त्यक्तो बुभुक्षुभिः Bubukshubhihi, those who love material enjoyments, by them tyakta has been abandoned. Vedanta has been abandoned. Meaning they are averse to Vedanta. Why? Because its topic is not Vishaya Bhoga. It's not a bhoga at all. Those who are interested in a bhoga have abandoned Vedanta. They have abandoned or they abandon. They abandon Vedanta because it is contrary to, it is something, it's talking about a topic that is different from Vishaya Bhoga. Because this topic is something it makes the talkative reflective. It makes the Vagmi Mukha and Prajna, a scholar, makes him reflective. And a workaholic, it makes him reflective. To become reflective, there is nothing in this world that can make you reflective, please. In the real sense of the term, only the truth makes you do mananam. There is nothing that can really make you wonder except the truth. There is nothing that can make you reflective. There is nothing that can stun you. There is nothing that can. Even a jadoo stuns you for a little while and then say, kuch to hoga. It becomes, you don't go to see the jadoo again and again. One can really think again and again about the truth until the truth as it is taught in Vedanta becomes clear. And therefore it makes the talkative dumb. Dumb means reflective. When you are reflective, naturally you are quiet. Reflective, to be reflective and to be quiet. You cannot be reflective without being quiet. When you are reflective, you are necessarily quiet. There is no noisy reflectiveness. When you are reflective, you are quiet. Especially reflective about your existence. You are quiet. And you cannot be quiet except when you are thinking about your existence. I can't say the absolute quietude of deep sleep state is a phase inside the wake. It is not a waking quietude. Inside the waking state, you can be quiet only when you think of your reflect. And all other times, you are struggling. You are making an effort not to talk. You are making an effort not to think. You are making an effort not to remember. It is a state of effort. That is why karmanya karmayah pashyed akarmanicha karmayah. Bhagavan says, The one who sees no effort in action, and the one who sees a lot of effort even in being quiet is a wise man, he says. A man who sees no effort in action means Atma is akarta. Even when you are doing action, you are akarta. Even when you are quiet, if you think you are quiet, there is an effort to be quiet. The will to be quiet is an effort. The decision to be quiet is an effort. The decision, the will, the resolve to be quiet is an effort. Whereas in self-reflection, there is no resolve to be quiet. The moment you think of your existence to be, you are quiet. Therefore, I don't mind saying that you are quiet only when you are reflective on the Atma Vichara, and when you are doing Atma Vichara, you are necessarily be quiet. But the real quietude, effortless quietude is only Vichara. Effortless quietude is in the form of Vichara. The resolve to be quiet is an effort. The will to be quiet is an effort. The will to meditate, to mentally focus, it's an effort. But in Atma Vichara, there is no will, please understand. Because you are discerning, you are seeing the difference between your existence and even the willing. It is more seeing rather than deciding. Deciding is an action. Willing is an action. Resolving is an action. But seeing the difference between willing and being is not an action. It is only seeing the difference. And for seeing the difference, you are quiet. And therefore, when you are doing Atma Vichara, you are quiet. And in order to be quiet, you have to do Atma Vichara. Therefore, to be quiet and to do Atma Vichara, one and the same. We also say sometimes you may be quiet without doing Vichara. Sometimes a man can be quiet without doing Vichara also. But I say that's not quietude. Effortless quietude is synonymous with Atma Vichara. Effortless quietude is another word for Atma Vichara. Therefore, Atma Vichara makes the talkative quiet, a scholar quiet, reflective, and a workaholic quiet, reflective. Mooka jada alasam karoti tattva bodhoyam. This tattva bodha, this tattva vicharaha. I am translating tattva bodha as a tattva vichara. Even tattva vichara, even doing reflection, even trying to see the difference between, I am using the word trying to, making an effort to see the difference between one's existence and one's thinking and one's willing and one's deciding. Even though I am using the term make an effort, etc., it's not an effort. It's not an effort. Effort technically is that karma. Effort technically is that which creates, which can take you to a place, apyam, sanskaryam, vikaryam, and utpadyam. Karma can create something, modify something, purify something and take you to some place. Whereas recognizing the rope as rope doesn't take you anywhere. It doesn't modify anything. It doesn't purify anything. It doesn't change anything. Therefore, even though I say that, don't misunderstand me, even if we make an effort to understand the truth, even though I use this sentence, make an effort to see the difference between your existence and your thoughts, existence and thinking, exist to be and to think, to be and to perceive, to be and to remember, to do, means akartrutvam and kartrutvam. Even if I say, please make an effort to see the difference, then you may think, is it not an effort? You yourself are saying, when you please make an effort to see the difference. Seeing the difference is not technically an effort. Technically a karma, an action. It's not technically, yes, it is willing to see. It's not willing to do. It's not a resolve to do. It is a resolve to see. And resolving to see what is not an effort. Understanding that I need to see the difference for my peace. Just as I need to do this for my relative peace, happiness, I need to see this difference. And therefore, seeing the difference is not a karma. Because it is an effortless perception of the difference between the satyam and mithya, which is beyond, and after seeing the satya mithya bhava between one's existence and the universe, you have nothing more to see. Your mental effort to know, the struggle, human struggle, the human strife, human striving for something more, that human struggle, human striving resolves in understanding one's being. Because being cannot be resolved into something. Because the very idea to resolve the being is non-existent in the being. Where the thinking is not possible, that is the being. Where the thinking is not an adjective, that is the being. Like in the deep sleep state, even if you decide inside the waking state to think inside the deep sleep state, when the deep sleep state comes, you can't think. The ideas about the death are only in life, not in death. The ideas about the deep sleep state are only in the waking, not in the deep sleep state. The ideas about the truth are only in the error, not in the truth. Because truth is free from thinking itself. To see the difference between one's existence and one's thinking happens, being is eternal. And therefore, man has renounced Vedanta because as though it's not bhoga. And man is interested more in bhoga, Vishaya bhoga. Because he is interested in Vishaya bhoga, he has renounced Vedanta because it doesn't help him to do Vishaya bhoga. It is wrong to think. A man who knows Vedanta, he can enjoy the Vishayas better. Aisa kuch nahi. That is all a modern mental, modern silliness. Happiness doesn't make you enjoy the pleasures better, aisa nahi. In fact, when you feel to feel no need to enjoy anything is much more enjoyable than pleasures. to feel that there is no need for any. Vairagyam gives you much more happiness than bhoga. Freedom from desire is much more comforting. That's real comfort. Freedom from desire is much more comforting than to have a desire, than to strive for its fulfillment, than to enjoy it. Bhoga is not comforting. Therefore, one says, man has renounced Vedanta, and he will continue to renounce Vedanta as long as he thinks that Vedanta is anti-bhoga. It is not anti-bhoga, nor is it for bhoga. That's not its, bhoga is not the topic. There is no yes for bhoga, there is no for bhoga. That's not its topic. Bhoga is not its topic. Even Vairagyam is not its topic, ji. This is the main clue to the great glory of Vedanta. Its topic is not even freedom from samsara, negation of samsara. Its topic is that in your existence there is no samsara. It is a samsara-free nature of your being. The non-dual nature is the topic. The non-dual nature is the topic. Therefore, what we always vote for and what we keep voting against in life, what we in a daily life we keep voting for and vote against, vote for, vote against. That's not the topic. Vedanta's topic is neither BJP nor Congress. Are you able to follow? Vedanta's topic is neither BJP nor Congress. What we vote for in life, what we keep voting against is not the topic. Yes for money, no for poverty. Vedanta doesn't talk about either prosperity or poverty. Yes for sense pleasure, no for pain. Vedanta doesn't talk about either sense pleasure or sense pain. It talks about the being in which there is neither an individual, nor individuality, nor the senses, nor the universe. The being is a non-dual oneness. And therefore the topic of Vedanta is different. And therefore, as long as man thinks that it is contrary to bhoga, he will continue to renounce Vedanta. But Vedanta is not contrary to bhoga. It's not contrary to karma. Nor is it pro-karma, nor pro-bhoga. This is the problem. To understand what I am saying is not easy. It's not difficult also. अक्कल को संभालने से समझ में आता है. समझ गए ना? It's not pro-bhoga. It's not anti-bhoga. It's not pro-karma. It's not anti-karma. It is not pro-struggle. It is not anti-struggle. Then it is only solely pro your being in which there is no struggle-free being is different from mere absence of struggle. Aji, dawai lijiye. Absence of struggle is different. Struggle-free being is different. Struggle-free being is different. Waveness-free water is different from mere absence of the wave. We are not talking about, we are not pro-wave, we are not anti-wave. We are not pro-sansara, we are not anti-sansara. Vedanta is not pro-grihasthashram nor Anti-grace, these are all silly matters. Feel like getting married, get married, not once, 1,000 times. That's not Vedanta's problem, that's not a big thing. If you don't want to marry, don't marry. You don't have to consult Vedanta for that. Vedanta's topic is free from all the silly stands that human mind can take. The silly stands that any mind takes, including Devata's minds. In ignorance, you only take silly stands. And my thinking in terms of stands is extended to Vedanta also. Vedanta doesn't take a stand pro for something or anti something. Vedanta doesn't take a stand which is a restatement of human mental stands. Are you able to follow? Human mind takes certain stands, not the same stands the Vedanta also takes now. Nor does it take some different stands. Nor it takes some opposite stand. It only talks about one's existence which is free from time-free being. Time-free being, space-free being, thought-free being, embodiment-free being, universe-free being. And that being is the topic. And talking about the being doesn't come under stands. Because you can't take a stand against your existence anyway. And therefore understanding the being is not a stand. What is a stand? Where you can take pro or anti. That is a stand. You can't take a stand against your existence. Therefore, you don't take a stand pro also. You can't take a stand pro-truth or anti-truth. You can't take a stand pro-happiness or anti-happiness. Happiness is, if I think of happiness, it's not a stand. Because I can't change a stand. A stand is that which is available for changing. Thus, he says, human beings have always renounced Vedanta. Even in olden times, dharma interested some people, adharma interested some people, Vedanta interested none. Dharma interests some people who are called dharmic people. Adharma interests, please put your mobiles off. I am going to confiscate all your mobiles and I will put them all on auction so that I can get some revenue. Yes. Yes, revenue is not bad. Therefore, you can't really you don't take an action, you don't take a stand against happiness. Happiness is choiceless. And therefore, human beings have always renounced. And because they have been misinterpreted, in the old also some people have been interested by dharma, some people have been interested in adharma, but nobody takes interest in Vedanta. And even if you take interest in Vedanta, you will make a mess of it. Because it becomes a matter for speculation. Because it's not an object. If it is an object, I can see and decide this is it. Then it becomes scientific. Because it is not an object, it is free for all. Because and if you say it is not the object, it is the subject, even the subject becomes speculated. Even quietude becomes speculated. You are thinking of silence. In fact, the speculation ends about the truth only when truth is unlike thought. And your entire speculation is thinking. And the contrary to thought is not absence of thought. The contrary to thought is thought-free being. Therefore, you don't have to speculate the absence of thought. Because absence of thought, if you think, then also it is a thinking. Therefore, in order to handle the presence of thought, the speculation about the absence of thought, you have to come back to your being there. Your presence, your being. Exactly like the prelude to sleep. That can give you a lot of relief in understanding, you see. In prelude, you don't think of the presence of something or absence of, you don't think, you just be. Being. And you don't have to be, that is what you choicelessly are. That also I have to say. Otherwise you will be making an effort to be. That is also a problem. To be is our nature. We have no other nature than to be. Therefore, as long as man is interested only either in, he thinks dharma, if you are following dharma, you think that is the end of, that is exhaustively the whole of religion, that is exhaustively the whole of spirituality, that you are blessed to be dharmic. That is okay, you are blessed to be dharmic. But that's nothing. Because exposure to the Shruti gives you the vision that ethics is not the ultimate. Like a good karma is also a karma, ethics also is a karma, ethical karma also is a karma. Just as Ravana is an individual, Rama also is an individual. It's a jiva. Embodiment makes you a jiva anyway. And therefore, and human beings will continue to be interested only in ethics. Devadanava Sangram. You know Devadanava Sangram? Good and evil. They will only think in terms of good and evil, good and evil, good and evil. And between good and evil there is always Sangram. There is always a warfare. Because they are opposed to each other. Whereas truth, there is nothing that is opposed to the truth. If there were something that is contrary to the truth, the non-dual plus parallel to it something, then there will be a tug of war. There can be a conflict between goodness and badness, but there is no conflict between Satyam and Mithya. Because from the Satyam point of view, there is no Mithya. Therefore, even if the Satyam wants to fight with Mithya, there is no Mithya to fight. And Mithya thinks that is the Satyam. It doesn't know the Satyam. Mithya thinks that it is, I am the Satyam. Then, and inside the Mithya you have the ethics and non-ethics fight. All fights are within Mithya, not between Mithya and Satyam. Isko pakad lijiye. All warfares are within Mithya, not between Mithya and Satyam. There is no warfare between Satyam and Mithya because there is no warfare between God and someone, because from God's point of view there is nothing else. He alone is. Water cannot fight with a wave. Wave is not something else. Wave is an appearance on water, not parallel to water. Is not opposed to water. There is no virodha. There is no opposition between wave and water. There is no opposition because one is the Satyam and the other is the Mithya. Between Satyam and Mithya there is no opposition. It is oneness. Mithya is not a friend of Satyam. I said, wo bhi nahi lena. Oh, there is no opposition. That means it must be a friend. Don't bring in all this language. Because I get scared of all this diction coming into existence. जैसे आसाराम कहते थे. He's an idiot. He used to say, भगवान क्या चीज़ है, वो तो मेरा यार है. ये तो, this is all something. That's all vanity. Bhagavan is nobody's yar. Bhagavan, to think of Bhagavan, you have to have a profound mind to think of God. You think of God as. When things are going well with you, people are coming, donations are coming, and food is going on, when everything all is well with you, then you look upon Bhagavan as your yar. If Bhagavan is so much of your yar, why is he not helping you now? I don't think any. Yes, these are all really. In India, even though it is a nation of spirituality, but the right spiritual thinking is less. Of course, in the rest of the world, it is non-existent. Here it is. All that goes in the form of spirituality is not spirituality. That's why at least people should continue following dharma at least properly. Follow dharma honestly, you are still spiritual. Follow dharma honestly, that is still okay. It doesn't harm the nation. Anyway, ji, the next verse. Natvam deho na te deha bhokta karta na va bhavan chidruposi sada sakshi nirapeksha sukham chara. Walk the earth comfortably. You are not really an Indian or a Nepali or an American or etc. You have no abode. Aniketa. Aniketa means you don't have. Even if you are living in a house, don't think that is your permanent abode. Don't say, I am living in a house. I am living in the creation. The Srishti mein rehta hu ji. As a jiva, I am living in the Srishti. And as Paramatma, I transcend the Srishti. In Vyavahar, as an individual, I am not in India or anywhere. Even if you say I am in India, it means Tatparyam is I am in Srishti. It can liberate you from a lot of nostalgic feelings. Otherwise, ये एक जमाना था, मैं प्राइमरी स्कूल में था, मेरा विद्या. What is all this? It's nothing. Try to fight the nostalgic feelings. They are good for nothing. They eclipse the fact. Because when you leave the body, then where is your primary school? Where are your primary school friends, etc.? When you think of remotely past things, they become nostalgic. But the truth is free from time. Therefore, here it says, Natvam dehaha aniketaha. This is the word. Karikakara says, Aniketa sthira. It says, Niswadhakara evacha aniketas. It says always be aniketa. Be free from offerings. Don't be interested in karma. And be free from having a permanent abode. Don't think that you have an abode. You are a jiva in the srishti. In this life you happen to be here. Nistutir nirnamaskaraha niswadhakara evacha aniketa sthiramatihi yatir yadrichiko bhavet. मैं तो स्मरण कर लिया. Nistuti. Don't get into unnecessarily singing in praise of something. Understand, the real glory is you. Don't sing the glory of something other than you. What is other than you is mithya. Nistutihi. Nirnamaskaraha. You don't have to go on praising something else. And God is there, you can praise God, etc. But always understand it is intimate. It's not other. Pray to God without the sense of its being other. Worship God without the sense of its being other. Make an effort to entertain a special thought that God, your existence is synonymous with my ununderstood being. Help me understand it. Always think of God, and along with the God, along with thinking of God, also think that God is not outside one's being. Then there's no problem. Nistutihi nirnamaskaraha. I don't mind interpreting it even to mean that be free from karmakanda. Stuti se rahit raho. Be free from doing stuti of something else. Nirnamaskaraha. Be free from doing namaskara to something else. Niswadhakara evacha. Swadha. Swaha. We say, that is rituals. Niswadhakara evacha. Aniketa sthiramatihi. Yatir yadrichiko bhavet. Let a sannyasi be, depend upon the chance. Whatever comes his way, let him survive. And therefore, one doesn't have to take a stand. I am an Indian, if I go to America, I will be uncomfortable. Say you are in America, you are in Srishti. In India, you are in Srishti. In any place, somewhere you have to stay, but you are within Srishti. That feeling. As an individual, I am in the Srishti. Don't even say that I am under the sky. Aisa kuch nahi. I am in the Srishti. God's creation. It's a creation. It is an unlimited appearance. I am in this unlimited appearance as an individual. As the being, I transcend the universe. Natvam deha. You are not deha. That should be the line of thinking. My existence is not synonymous with deha. I am not deha. The error is I am deha. I am deha is a thinking, anadi thinking. But the anubhava is I am not deha. Thinking is I am deha. I am the wave is thinking, and I am the water is the anubhava. The truth is choicelessly self-evident. That is, not to be inert is one's experience about oneself. And to be the inert form is a thinking. I am a form is a thinking. I am unlike the form is the anubhava. Therefore, thinking is unlike the anubhava swarupam, the being. And therefore, natvam deha, you are not deha. Nate deha, nor is it yours. Fundamentally thinking, fundamentally reflecting, neither one is deha nor the deha belongs to one. You are neither the owner of the deha, neither you are deha nor the possessor of deha. Truth cannot possess something. Truth cannot be something other than itself. Fire is hot. If it thinks I am cool, that is thinking, is it not? I am cold. Fire thinks I am cold. What is it? Is it being or thinking? It is thinking. And even when it thinks I am cold, it continues to be hot. And that is its experience. It continues to experience its heat. Along with the experienced heat, it continues to be heat. It's not an object of experience, it is anubhava swarupam. To be is anubhava swarupam, means it's not anubhava vishayam. This language you pick up somehow. It is an excellent unfolder. It is not anubhava vishayam. A state is anubhava vishayam, but the one who experiences his existence is anubhava swarupam. I am is anubhava swarupam. I am deha is anubhava vishayam. It is of course it's an error. The entire error about the truth is anubhava vishaya. The entire error about the truth is anubhava vishaya. And therefore, I am the wave is thinking, I am water is being. Being is constantly, what is experienced as oneself is one's own being. When you intimately think, when you think constantly, you think it is anubhava. It is not anubhava. It is only thinking. It is anubhava vishaya, all right, not anubhava swarupam. What we call anubhava vishayam is an error. Anubhava swarupam is the truth. There are only two things. To be is anubhava swarupam. To see something is called anubhava vishayam. That's all in life. Waking is, embodiment is anubhava vishayam. Time, space, form, this jagat is anubhava vishayam. Dream is anubhava vishayam. Even deep sleep state as one of the three states as interpreted in the waking state is also a anubhava vishayam. But one's existence is anubhava swarupam. Therefore, natvam dehaha, you are neither the body, nate dehaha, nor is it yours. Na bhokta, you are not an enjoyer. Every pleasure is anubhava vishayam. Anubhava vishayam. When we say it is experienced, means what? It is anubhava vishayam. When it comes to the anubhava swarupam, it is of the nature of experience. It is self-evident one's existence. And therefore, what I see is anubhava vishayam, the seer is anubhava swarupam. Itna to pakad lijiye. What I hear is anubhava vishayam, the one who hears is anubhava swarupam. What I experience is anubhava vishayam, the experiencer is anubhava swarupam. There is no third thing. And the anubhava swarupam properly looked at is non-dual. Anubhava Swarupam, properly looked at, right, correctly looked at, is Anubhava Swarupam. Therefore, natvam deho nate deha, bhokta, you are not an enjoyer. Therefore, even though you are enjoying this and that, that is all Anubhava Vishayam. Every pleasure is Anubhava Vishayam. But silence is not Anubhava Vishayam. Peace is not Anubhava Vishayam. It is Anubhava Swarupam. Anubhava Swarupam is more intimate than Anubhava Vishayam. Anubhava Vishayam is Adhyastha. Anubhava Swarupam is Adhishtanam. Na bhokta, na karta. Therefore, even when you are enjoying, you are only wasting time. Therefore, life should be lived. Pleasure should be had just for health and survival. And you don't have to live for pleasures. Have pleasures for survival. That can curtail, that can steady your life beautifully. Eat to live, don't live to eat. Does it not make a difference? Eat to live, don't live to eat. Earn to live, but don't live to earn. Enjoy pleasures for living. Don't live for enjoying pleasures. Thus, you are not, even when you are enjoying for just a living, you are not a bhokta. You are taking the help of a little mithya to handle the mithya. You enjoy the pleasures to understand that even the pleasures are mithya. You think to understand the falsity of thinking. Even Atma Vichara is done to understand the falsity of thinking, Vichara, the falsity of everything except the being. Even the lullaby doesn't qualify sleep, ji. If lullaby doesn't qualify the deep sleep, your vichara also doesn't qualify the vastu. Na te deha bhokta, na bhokta, na karta, na va bhavan, bhokta na karta na bhavan. Bhavan means आप. आप ना करता है, ना भोक्ता है, ना देह है, nor you are the owner of the deha. Then what are you? Chidruposi. You are of the nature of only a conscious being. Anubhava Swarupa. Because awareness cannot be there without being experienced as oneself. I am. That is consciousness. Every person is by nature a conscious being. Chidruposi. Sada, always. Sakshi. You are always the experiencer of things independent of pramanas. That is Sakshi. Sakshadikshate. You don't use the waking senses to experience the dream. Senses are not to facilitate anubhava. Senses are meant to facilitate dividing matter into 5: form, sound, taste, touch, smell. समझ में आ रहा है? We think senses are meant to facilitate anubhava. Consciousness doesn't require any faculty to experience something. These pramanas these 5 senses are meant to divide the physicality into 5 bits called the form, sound, taste, touch and smell. And this senses and the sense objects realm is experienced by the truth, independent of any pramanam. Truth doesn't use an instrument to illumine the truth, to know the truth, to experience the truth, to experience the object. Everything choicelessly is in touch with Atma. We may say the form is in touch with the sight. I say the sight form realm itself is, along with the embodiment, is experienced. Embodiment is not experienced. That I am Deha is not experienced through the eyes. I see the form, but I am Deha, that thought, that feeling that I am Deha is not experienced through the eyes, senses. The error is not experienced through the senses. Dehoham is not experienced through the senses. Because the senses themselves are a part of the error. Pramatritvam itself is a part of an error. Therefore, it is necessary, it is very beneficial to understand that our existence experiences what is experienced between what is experienced and the one who experiences. Between them there is no medium. There is no pramanam. That is why everything is anubhava vishayam. And the truth is anubhava swarupam. It's not a vishayam. Therefore, chidruposi, you are of the nature of consciousness, sakshi, the direct experiencer of the entire creation. What is seen by the eyes also is experienced by the conscious being. You may say it is heard by the ear, but then the ear and the sound both are experienced. The realm of perception is experienced by the truth. And between the experiencer and the experienced, there is no pramanam. Thus, truth as the direct experiencer of the avasthas is called sakshi. Sakshad ikshate sarvanubhu. That which experiences everything without the help of any pramana is called sarvanubhu. Sabko anubhav karne wala. Pura jagat ko anubhav karne wala. What you experience is a creation. The one who experiences is the truth. Don't speculate about the nature of the experience. Because whatever you speculate is of no use, because you can never think of being. You can only be the being. You can't think of the being. You can be. Therefore, speculation about your existence has no meaning at all. Don't speculate. Nirapekshaha sukham chara. Freely, nirapekshaha, as a free person, independent, without any dependency upon anything, without missing anything. Without missing anything, because how can you miss the mithyaji? Yes, I am going to explain it literally. When this, see, man's need is to be, and to be is to be peaceful. As long as I stand as a thinker, I am incomplete. As long as I recognize myself as the being, I am complete. And in addition to completeness, you don't need anything. Therefore, independently, freely, as a free being, nirapeksha, sukham chara, live very comfortably. Live comfortably, live freely, live cheerfully, live happily with the knowledge of yourself as the truth. And without that knowledge of yourself as the truth, without the knowledge of the being, however much you may try to be a free person, you will only be a dong person, not free person. You are only doing the dong of freedom. You can pretend to be free. You can pretend to be this or that, but you cannot be that unless the being is understood as the very truth of the entire thing. There is Satya Mithya Bhava. Clear, please? Therefore, live freely. And then supposing you are a grihastha, ignore a lot of problems. Have 2 sets of ears. One set of ears for hearing Vedanta. The another set of ears called deaf ears, have them. Let everything fall on deaf ears. Yes. Have 2 sets of ears. Like you have glasses, 2 sets of glasses. You can have 2 sets of ears. There's no use, G. Because how many problems can you solve? In Mithya the problems come and they're all healed by it. In time they become insignificant. Man's mood is not good and don't try to straighten it up. वो तो अपने आप ठीक हो जाएंगे. A problem that can solve itself, why should you solve, G? Somebody came and said, my in-laws are very difficult for me, Swamiji, what should I do? And the first question I asked was, how old are they? Then 85. Just a few days, G, they will be gone. What is the problem? They'll be gone. Therefore, ignore a lot of problems. Attend to the problem of understanding yourself. If you start solving the problem, it's like itching, the more you scratch, the more it itches, yes. The more you solve, you love challenges, and challenges keep coming, G. It will only tire you. A young man may say, I love challenges. All right, how long? How long you will love challenges? Challenges are good, all right. I understand. Nice to take challenges and solve them, all right. But then I am talking some spirituality, that is. Even if you can solve challenges, etc., but ultimately the challenges tire you out. Once you get into the topic of the truth, then everything, even solving challenges, is a waste of time. What you need to solve it. A lot of things solve themselves. Ignore them. People's attitude towards you, ignore it. The real problem is food to eat. Food, clothing and shelter. Roti, kapda, makan is the problem. Then you have to solve them. वो भी प्रारब्ध से जो होता है. And therefore, न त्वं देहः न ते देहः न भोक्ता न कर्ता भवान चिद्रूपोसि सदा साक्षी. Your existence is the direct experiencer of the entire creation. There is nothing wrong in saying, I experience the form and the eyes, and I experience myself also as an individual. That is also an object of anubhava. And the one who experiences is fundamentally the truth. Anubhava swarupa. Any speculated idea about yourself is also anubhava vishaya. Makes no sense. Whereas your existence is free from all that. Ragadveshau manodharmau namanaste kadachana nirvikalposi bodhatmam nirvikara sukham charam. Without any speculation, wander the earth. As nirvikara, free from all vikaras, walk the earth, live in the creation with the knowledge of its source. Ragadveshau, these likes and dislikes, manodharmo. You are not a liker. To be a liker of something is not one's identity. To to be a disliker is not our identity. Like even to be a thinker is not our identity. Even to be the experiencer of something is not our identity. But to be non-dual is our identity. You see, our identity is so many things it is not. Only one thing it is. It's not a thinker. It's not a feeler. It's not a speculator. It's not even an experiencer. It is of the nature of anubhava. Because every mentation, every relationship involves a sense of division. A relationship-free being is our end. Therefore, to be a liker, to be a disliker, either we say it's a part of the mind. I would say it is an anubhava vishaya, that means it is adhyasa. Likerness is an error about the non-likerness. Dislikerness is an error about that which is free from dislikerness. You can also say it is manodharma. Thika is manodharma. Na manaste kadachana. This is the way of some people think. These are all the manodharmas. They are not mental qualities. It is better to understand straight away. They are errors about something that is free from it. Thought is an error about the thought-free being. It is better to think like that. Because even if you say thought is the mental quality, and ultimately you have to say the mind doesn't qualify the truth, then all right, what is the relationship between the mind that doesn't qualify the being and the being? What is the relation? Satyamitya, you have to come to that ultimately. You have to say it's Satyamitya bhava. Therefore, it is better to say the likerness is a correctable thinking about the likerness-free being. Dislikerness is an error about is a correctable thinking. It is a correctable phenomenon about the dislikerness-free being. Na manaste kadachi. This is one way. This is some of the old sadhus, old sannyasis, the teachers, they have a certain way of talking. And conventions, sometimes people, they just follow the beaten track of conventions. It is a convention to think every thought as manodharma, 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 manodharma. Why don't you make a stride? All right, it is manodharma. Then what is the mind? It doesn't qualify the truth. And then all right, why it doesn't qualify the truth? Because it is mithya. Come to that. Therefore, likerness is adhyasa about the likerness-free being. Unlike dislikerness is also adhyasa. And if you want to increase some discussion, you say, all right, it is manodharma, and manas is not your quality. Nirvikalposi, you are free from division. Vikalpa nahi hai. See, one meaning of nirvikalposi means you are free from all dichotomies. You are free from dvandvas. If there are two, then I have to choose between the two. If there are no two, there is only one. In oneness, there is no choice. Therefore, nirvikalpaha means division free. Nirvikalpa also means choiceless. Atma is nirvikalpaha, means choiceless being. Where you can't, it is not there by your choice. One's existence is not by one's choice. Fire is hot not by its choice, that is its nature. Always discern between what is by choice and what is by nature. Discern between vikalpa and nirvikalpa. Choice and nature. Swarupa. It will give you a very beautiful clarity. Our existence is our nature. I am not existent by choice. I am conscious by nature. I am by nature. And I am free from being Deha by nature. I am Deha is not our nature because that is thinking. Thinking is not our nature. Thinking is a distortion. Thinking is a distortion. It's not nature. It's a vikalpa. It's not a choice, but it is an error. There is a choice, there is an error. Choice is by my choice. I choose by my choice. That is very subjective. Error is by ignorance. Nature is choiceless. It is independent of subjective choice. It is independent of ignorance. You understand these three things you can think about. What is by choice, subjective. I like banana, that is my choice. I am the body, that is by ignorance, a non-understanding of the truth. And one is existent, one has existence, that is his nature. You think of these three realms, you will be a sage. Swamiji, sage. Can one be a sage without a beard also? Yes. Generally the sages have beards. Beard doesn't make a man a sage. Beard only gives work to a Baba. You should be very, very clear person to study Vedanta. There are no insignia for wisdom, please. Wisdom doesn't carry the insignia. Insignia, you understand? Insignia means, some chinhas. There are no insignia, wisdom. Inner clarity doesn't carry any insignia. Our existence doesn't carry any insignia. Truth doesn't carry any insignia. Mithya can carry some insignia. That it has a beginning and an end is insignia. That it is an object of my anubhava is insignia. That is why the insignia are used to falsify the false, not for inferring the truth. Okay, Ji, we'll continue it. And therefore, having understood this, freely walk the earth. You don't have to walk the earth, does not mean you have to walk. Walk the earth, you have to walk in the park. But wander in the creation, freely live in creation with the vision of the truth. Purnamadaha Purnamedam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.